morning. Welcome to the Inside Job Podcast with Nate. This morning we have the Miss Beautiful Amber Joy.
Good morning, y'all. Hey.
I used to push this button, but because I had an epic failure twice,
Oh, no.
I don't even, because some of them is like the clap, the drums.
Okay, we can clap for ourselves.
Yeah.
Clap, ladies, clap.
Amber Joy. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning, sis. How are you?
I am well. Thank you. How about yourself?
I cannot complain. Life has been good. It's been work.
Fact. What life
But it's
isn't.
been good.
Yeah.
I cannot complain. I was just thinking, actually last night, I was like, I feel like I have a good life. It's not a perfect life.
You know what? That's so
But
good.
it's a good life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of people saying that much. You don't hear a lot of people. You don't hear a lot of people saying that much.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm living the dream, or you know, hey, this is what it is. I'm getting by. I'm surviving.
I think I used to be so attached to feeling like, oh my God, nothing's working right. Things aren't always going to work right. But I
You better talk about it
choose.
because it's a choice.
Right. I choose. And trust me, I feel like I done been through it. And
Yes.
we'll talk about it. But I do. I feel like things are not perfect, but they're
Yes.
actually good. I don't have any
Good.
reason to be like, this is terrible. Like,
Yeah.
and come think of it, I was like, my health, I was just saying earlier, I was like, I was diagnosed with diverticula, and I had diverticulitis a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, getting close to a month. And I was like, all things considered, my health is even good.
Yes.
Right? So,
Girl, and we can talk about, it'll be a whole day talking about the things
Right.
going on, that we
Right.
go through from a health perspective.
Yeah.
But what a blessing. I'm grateful. So
Thank you.
What you were diagnosed, what is that? Is it like
So
gas?
diverticulitis is an infection of your intestines, but it's because you can form pockets, and this is like a post 40 thing. So welcome to 45, but welcome to 40. But you can form
Wait till you get to
pockets.
50. Okay.
Girl, I know. Like every day I'm like, help. What just happened? I thought my hip was okay.
Yeah.
But you get these little pockets, and in those little pockets, food and waste and things can get stuck in them. And I didn't know that I had it. And so I was, and it's funny because the week that I had a flare up that took me to the ER, I, for whatever reason, was craving chili that week. And so I was eating all the chili, and I love spicy food. So, and y'all can go Google diverticulitis. I'll spare you the details. But I had a very big clue, and it indicated I had a bleed. And so I ended up heading to the ER, and they were like, based on all your symptoms and everything that's happening, I'll skipping all the gory details.
Yes.
Got a CT scan, and they're like, yep, you have diverticulitis. So I was like, what is that? How you
Right.
spell
You
it?
like, but who, what?
Right. But the pockets, it's a lifelong condition. So the pockets
Okay.
never leave. So I'm just
Okay.
kind of in that phase where I'm figuring out what I can eat, what I can't eat, what agrees with me. But get y'all's fiber after 40. Get y'all's fiber.
Yeah.
And by the way, whiskey doesn't count as a barley wheat.
That part, right?
I was like, I done got my fiber today. Like, no, girl. That does not count. Does not count.
That is
So,
hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
indeed.
well,
But
good.
I'm
Well,
feeling better.
Feeling better. Well, you're looking great.
Thank
You're
you.
looking marvelous. I'm not quite
Appreciate
sure of what all of that involves. And not that you didn't look before. Amber and I are not just meeting each other. We're familiar
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
have done some work together with one another. And so we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But just from seeing you the last time to seeing you, you
I
look
was
amazing.
chubby. She's trying to say. But look, here's my thing, though. I've never been a skinny girl.
Yes, but see, I don't think you was chubby. I will not say chubby. I say thick, y'all. She was thick as
Listen,
gumbo.
Look, and I love gumbo, too. That was my problem.
Not chubby, okay?
Chubby. But I am also 5'1", so I know, like, you get to a point,
Yes.
and you're like, y'all tell you what it was. My daughter had a 10th birthday party, and one of the kids took a picture of me, and I was looking, you know how pictures will do you.
Pictures and
Pictures
cameras.
of children, you know what I mean, will tell the truth. But I had somebody took a picture, and I was looking at the picture later, and I was like, oh my God. And look, we'll talk about Quiver later. I'm here for women. I'm all for everything that we do. We are amazing humans.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yes.
And so my point here is no shade to my thick sisters, because I am you. I'm part of your community.
Yes.
But I looked at it and was like, I'm 5'1", and I've already had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it was like, look, sis, you got to take control. And I knew it was an out of control thing because I like to eat. I like food. I like to cook. I like rich food. I like soul food. I like all the food. Like, give me all the food. If it's fried, dyed, and leave to the side, I want it. If it's cheesy, if it's not good for me, I love it. But I also love good for you food too.
Yeah.
But I also knew that I was out of control. And my love language, if I love you, if I care about you, I want to cook for you.
Okay.
And so I always had people coming and going from the home, and just like, you hungry? Let me whip you this up. I'm going to have some too.
Yeah.
So that,
you don't have to eat alone.
Yeah. So I definitely needed to pause and slow down and think about what I was doing, and running a business and being a single mom and 3 kids and driving back and forth and going to podcasts and doing all the things I needed to do. I know that I needed to be healthy for that.
Yes,
and I wasn't
absolutely.
healthy. I'd stopped working out and stopped like being in really intuitive and taking the initiative to say, you don't need this, right? So
that's
the
good.
difference.
Yeah. And what an encouraging, testimony.
Thank you.
I mean, again, and then appreciate, you sending this out to us thickums.
Listen, but you look good, girl. You look good. And then I also have to realize too, and this is kind of part of where my story starts, was I grew up in a predominantly white environment. I went to white schools, and the way that my body was built was not like Kathy, Karen, and Julie.
Absolutely.
Right. This was Amber.
Yes.
But Amber was thicker.
Yeah.
Amber was always had a more athletic build, right?
Yes.
And so that body dysmorphia kicks in, and what I see and what the world sees was very much so 2 very different things.
Absolutely.
And so when I met my ex-husband, and he would say things to me like, I don't care what you think, I don't care what you know, I only care what you look like. To me, when I was 130 pounds, I was still fat. But I didn't realize, like, you're not actually fat. Like, you're healthy. And I was very, like, athletic. I used to, I ran. I was at the gym all the time. That was my lifestyle.
Okay.
And I was more conscious of what I was putting in my mouth then.
Okay.
So, and I think a part of that was getting away from him. Even like my locks. I remember I wanted locks so bad. When I was married. You can't have locks.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a rebellious part of me that was like, I don't have to do what you say no more. I can have locks. I could be chubby. I can, and I'm gonna still be fine. So, but also understanding that there are pieces of that impact my health too.
Absolutely.
So still working on what I feel and what the scale says and how what I see versus the world. Those things don't always have to be on the same playing field.
You better say that again.
Yeah.
And you know what? I love that you said, there's something that you said that I actually really love. We just embrace who we are, right? Be healthy, but embrace who you are.
Yep.
And so, maybe some rebellious spirit was like, no, I'm going to be chubby because you said I can't be, or whatever.
Yeah.
But just being comfortable in your own skin and with who you are. Be healthy. So recognizing that there is a health component to skinny, fat, whatever. There's a healthy, and be that.
Yep.
But be comfortable with it.
And there's permission to be who you are in that space. I think for women, a lot of the times we center our happiness and our pleasure around our partner, and we ignore ourselves. And so everything that I was doing wasn't for me. I didn't even really know. I always tell people this story. When I left my ex-husband, I left him in Michigan.
Okay.
And moved back home to Denver. And I remember the very first time I was going to go get my hair done, my first instinct was to pick up my phone and text him, like, how should I get my hair done? Like,
what?
what was I going to do?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't have to ask him nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm out here a free agent.
Yes.
And part of kind of how I got to where I'm at now is giving myself permission to say, no, like what you like.
Yes.
And who you want to be.
Yes.
And everything from this day forward is you.
You, come on.
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yes.
Were you married for love or were you married for the title? Were you, were you staying thinner, smaller, thicker, but like, what is it, slim thick?
Yeah, slim thick
right?
is the word, I guess.
Is that what you were doing for
Yeah.
you? Like all that energy you're putting into it? I used to wear a lot of makeup. And again, this is not about if you choose. I envy you sisters out there who could beat the please hit me up, email me, please. Like tell me I could do you because I need help. But I used to always just all the makeup and all the stuff. I would do all the things because that was the mask. I wasn't giving myself permission to just be, right?
That's
and so I realized one day I was like, skincare matters. So if I just did skincare, I might be all right.
Yeah, because you're naturally beautiful.
Well, thank you. But I think for a lot of women, we negate ourselves. And I've always said, decenter men. And we hear that and people get all uproared, like, well, and turn feminist into a bad word. And it is not a bad word. It means that I understand my value as a woman.
Facts.
I understand my value as a human.
Yes.
And I'm allowed to say no, because if I center my pleasure around someone else, and broad definition of pleasure too, by the way, right?
Define this.
Right. Because if I'm talking about bedroom pleasure, and I always tell women it's okay to be selfish there. And I'll explain that in a minute.
Yeah.
But pleasure is your ability to find joy. When we started this conversation, I was like, my life is actually good. Yes. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. I need more money. Yes. I need a new home. Yeah. I need a new car. There's a lot of things that, someone could look at and say, my life is crap, right?
Yes.
But I choose to live a pleasure first life. And so people always laugh, like, is your real middle name Joy? I'm like, yeah, it really is. I can see why. I was like, no, I have not always been like this. I used to cry as a hobby. Yeah. Right? No, really. Yes,
I believe it.
Really.
And understand it.
Yeah, but then I realized there are so many other things in this life to be focused on than the absolute negative.
That's right.
I would have never thought. When I first met you, I was so fresh on this journey of what started as the Pink Cookie Shop.
Yes.
Headed into Quiver. But I was so new on that journey. And I never would have thought 5 minutes before I met you, if somebody had said to me even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you're going to be running this company. One of your biggest assets is going to be you will develop an app. I'm not a technical person, but I run a tech-based company.
Yes.
If somebody's going to say you were going to be a pleasure coach, or run a pleasure-based company focused solely on women and our pleasure from the boardroom to the bedroom, I would have said, nah, I need like a steady, for real paycheck. That sounds scary.
Yes.
You mean you got to sink or swim?
Yes.
No. But then I thought about it. And I thought about all the other people that I have worked for in the past. And I'm like, if this Jack and Nenny can start a company, run a company, build a company.
Yes.
I know I can.
Why can't I? Yeah.
And I know that I can. Yeah. And the message can be, hey, ladies, I don't know if anybody told you this, but you have permission to be happy. You have permission to seek pleasure.
Yes.
However that manifests itself for you.
Yes.
And that's why I say we could talk about pleasure to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the whole, you can center yourself. I always say, put yourself first. And it's like the airplane analogy, right?
Yeah.
When you get on an airplane, what do they tell you?
Put your stuff on first. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me, how is this like a PG rated podcast?
Listen,
how far can we go?
We grown here. We good.
So I always tell people, I'm like, I get women all the time. They're like, I want to learn how to suck a D better, and I want to learn how to do this and da. And the first question I always ask is that for your pleasure or your partner's pleasure? Have you put on your oxygen mask first? Have you figured out what gets you there first before you start putting his oxygen mask on? And for my sisters who don't date men, who aren't married to men, and blah, 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 and they come and say, I want to learn how to do this, I want to do that, and that. Did you put your oxygen mask on first? Is this about you preserving your pleasure, understanding what works for you so that everybody involved can have a good time?
Yeah.
So we can balance that?
Right. Because how many times you can think about how many times people go into it seeking to please their partner, then their partner go and get theirs, and then you left unfulfilled. Like,
baby,
well, dang, can you at least,
baby?
You know?
But what we do is we end up, I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
But what about you? Does your pleasure not matter?
Yeah, that's so good.
So why are you so worried about them walking away feeling some type of way?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah.
That was just a moment. That's why we get to this place in our lives. And aside from physical issues, for so many women I hear, I'm just not interested in it. Are you not interested in it? And again, I'm not taking away from my sisters who are having hormonal issues, et cetera.
Yes.
But I'm saying, are you not interested in it because you've just never had a good time? If I keep getting on a roller coaster, and it's not fun, it makes me sick every time.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to want to get on another roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with our pleasure lives in our bedrooms, right? Or in the kitchen or in the bathroom, wherever you're at.
Yeah.
If I'm not having a good
Roof,
time.
car.
Yeah.
Back in the Camino.
45 years old, and I still like getting in the back of a car. That's none of y'all's business. So, but all I'm saying is, if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, if you're not taking care of your pleasure, for real, how are you going to have a good balanced time? Think about it. How many times, ladies, and I'm speaking to my heterosexual sisters right now, how many times, ladies, have you had a man tell you, or have you heard, and gentlemen, if you're listening, raise your hand if this resonates with you. You could do it in the privacy of your own home. It's better if she's enjoying it herself. If she's enthusiastic about it, right? It's hard to be enthusiastic about something if you're the only one doing the work.
That part.
It's hard to be enthusiastic about something if you're the only one paying attention. If you're the only one in your head thinking, is my fat roll showing? Does he like it when I do it like this?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know? So I always tell ladies, it's not selfish at all.
At all.
To center yourself. There's a real good book, She Comes First.
Yeah.
Everybody should read it in the house.
Yeah.
That's of the age, right? I don't want y'all out here talking about Ampersand.
Yes.
Give it to the kids.
Yeah.
I did not say that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying of all the consenting adults in the room, everybody should read that book.
Yeah.
So
who is it by? What say the title again?
See, now you asking questions.
Yeah, because because somebody gonna be asking me.
I might get the author's name, but it's called She Comes First.
She Comes First. Just Google that. You'll
She Comes First. So, but yeah, I feel like we choose, in not all circumstances, y'all work with me, y'all don't at me with the, but what if?
Yeah.
I'm saying, generally speaking, I have been divorced. I have had a nasty, not very nice, very respectful marriage. I have had to worry about how I was going to feed my children, house my children. I've been cheated on. I've been lied to. I've lied. I'm not a perfect person, right? I've done all those. I've had all those things. I've done all those things. I've had a heart attack. I've had cancer scares. I've had all of those things. And I still choose to say, no, I'm going to live a pleasure first life. I'm not going to get long. My dad passed away when I was 35. And
condolences.
I remember, thank you. And I remember him saying very clearly, and my dad lived a good, broad life. He was an amazing man. And I remember him very clearly saying, I don't want to die. And that did something to me. And it made me think, like, nah, if this man who could live the life that he lived, say, no, I'm not done. I knew that I had the responsibility to live the rest of my life in a way that honored the life that he couldn't have. Right?
Okay.
And so for whatever that is for y'all, and then I start thinking about my kids, right? They need their mom.
Absolutely.
They need their mom.
Yes.
I need me to be here. I got things I want to do. I want to keep telling women and showing women and giving women the tools to live their own pleasure.
Living out
first
your
life.
calling.
Yeah. We're busy.
Yes.
We're always doing all the things.
Yes.
We carry all the weight.
Yes.
And you gentlemen out there, y'all are great and amazing too, but there's a lot of resources, and this world is kind of set up for y'all. But for women, and we see that in society, what's happening right now, right? Our health care is not a priority. Our well-being, our safety, laws are being rolled back.
Yes.
Rights are being revoked. We matter, and we have voices, and I think we get to a place where we're like, well, nobody's going to listen, so I'm going to just sit here. You can do that.
Yeah.
That's your choice. That's your freedom. But I choose to be loud.
Yeah.
And I think we need to take up space.
Yeah.
So here we are.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that whole part. We just had class.
Listen, I got a lot of thoughts. I don't sleep much. And I drink a lot of coffee.
She babysitting hers. Your mind gone.
I need to get on it. I'm going to work on it.
So let's talk about a little bit. Let's go back a little bit, Amber, and what you just discussed is very rich. So thank you for that. Let's go back to the trials that you have had. Let's talk a little bit about that and how you have overcome them, and what are some of the things that you did, because obviously it does no good to talk about it and then someone see the success of where you are now,
and
then you not and then you not give them the instructions.
What's the formula?
Right. And it doesn't work for everyone, but it does give somebody, it will give, I just believe it with all of me, it will give someone hope.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Sure. I don't know that there's a formula as much as it was, this will not kill me. I mean, I feel like I genuinely woke up every day because what are my options, right?
Now, so you're talking about
this is the formula. I'm telling you what it is right now. I would wake up every day, and still to this day, there are days that I wake up and I just feel like Eeyore, right? And I'm not talking about toxic happiness either, because masking isn't the answer.
Yes.
But I would always tell myself, whatever this thing is that I'm going through, a heart attack at 35?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Yes.
And I remember thinking like, well, it didn't kill me. I'm here for a reason. And I hang on to that very strongly. I am here for a reason. He wanted me here. See, I'm a woman of faith.
Come on.
So for me, it was, if I was not supposed to be here, it is of no thing for him to take that part. So I'm not going to preach to you, because that's not my strong point, because I will leave here and cuss and say nasty things immediately. But what I am saying is,
I love your real rawness. Ain't no other way to be.
He's still working on me. That's my truth. But it wouldn't kill me, and I would always tell myself. And then I had to realize, because I was raised I had really good parents who did all that they knew to do really good things by their daughters. But I think that I was raised a little conservatively, in that we act this way. We dress this way. We speak this way. We don't act like that. We don't do like that. And I had to get to a place. So this is the part where you take out your notebook and write this down. I had to get to the place where I had to say, that wasn't the life I chose for me. Because I very much so felt like I had a formula to follow. The secret is, there is no formula. You have to find a place with you that says, this is how I feel. I had to acknowledge, like, I'm a little weird, I'm a little quirky. That's okay. If you don't like me, you don't have to talk to me, and I don't have to talk to you.
That part.
And I'm not out here saying, like, because I also don't believe in, and then when people don't do you just cut them off. Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you
Sometimes you have to.
Yes, ma'am.
But I also say, don't just cut them off without reconciling with yourself. What was it? About this moment? And fully standing up for yourself and whatever that means, right?
My God, yes.
I used to have a former family member who would say, well, Amber, you're white. Tell us what the white people think about da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, are you okay? You're
Yeah.
supposed to be my family.
Yeah.
Why would you talk to me like this?
Yeah.
And those people didn't love me.
Mm.
Those people tolerated me. And being able to recognize when something and someone, and I do mean something, I'm talking about jobs, I'm talking about this is why I say from the boardroom to the bedroom.
Yes.
If it's not serving you,
come on,
you have every reason and right to get up and say, this is not serving me, and I'm taking myself out of it. And when you hear people say, I'm protecting my peace, that's a thing.
And it is.
That's a real thing.
100%.
And once I realized I didn't owe anybody anything except for myself.
You better talk.
And I'm talking about my children too, and I love them, and they came out of me. I don't owe none of y'all nothing except for
about
life and opportunity. I will give them all the opportunity. I love them from now. And if you know me and my children, you know I will go to war for them.
Yes.
But I owe myself the dignity of saying, this is the life I want to live, and I am not apologizing for it.
Yes.
And you will not disturb my peace. So I don't care what your opinion of me is.
Yeah.
When I first started Quiver, I was worried, like, oh, this friend is going to think that I'm, oh my God, and da-da-da-da-da. And then I was like, if you know me, and you think I'm out here just being some kind of a sleazy something or another, then you don't know me.
Then you don't know me.
Then you do not know me. And the audacity of you to judge me. So now I'm judging you, and I'm
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was really a matter of giving myself permission to be quirky, to be different, to be, sometimes I'm really quiet and I just want to stay to myself and I don't want to socialize.
Yeah.
Because my social meter is at a zero.
Yeah.
And saying no and meaning it.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm tired.
Yes.
It's a matter of, I don't think that the only pretty people on this planet beat their face every day.
Yeah.
That's not for me. I'm tired. I don't want to get up. I already get up super early in the morning. And again, I say this is not a judgment. If that makes you feel beautiful and at your best, please do that.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a mask. It was, I'm supposed to look like this in order to be considered worthy of someone else's time.
Yes.
And so for me, it was, I don't even like it. And my skin doesn't like, my skin was horrible. It was bad. It was always broken out and da-da-da-da. And it was because it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I was so pressed on what other people needed me to be or wanted me to be.
Their version of you. Their version of Amber.
Me. And I'm like, but I'm really not like that. I'm kind of gross. Like, I use bad words. And sometimes I'm like, I eat too much ice cream and I toot and stuff like that, right? So I'm like, I'm not this perfect being. Yesterday I was in this co-working space and this woman was like, and you're always just so well put together. And I was like, me? Yeah. This is like the one day a week I'm not in sweats. Yeah. What are we talking about? Right? But I'm okay with that because old Amber would never leave the house without being beat and having on the perfect outfit and my hair always done up and perfect. The formula, if you're looking for the Cliff Notes, is really giving yourself permission to explore the side of yourself and be the side of yourself that you think other people don't need to see, right? Because in any other capacity, you're living what they need from you.
Yes. Come on.
Not what you need to be able to give out to this world. And for me, my journey was very scripted. I could sit here and say, I hate my ex-husband. He gets on my nerves. He makes me sick, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But being the woman of faith that I am, I know that there are demons and struggles that he has had and will probably always have until he can get to a place in his life and say, this isn't it.
It's enough. Yes.
But it's not my problem anymore.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so I pray for him in the space that whatever he's wrestling with, he can get together for our children's sake, right? But it took a long time for me to get to a place where I didn't detest him so much. And see, hatred, you guys, by the way, will kill you. That's not a facade.
It will.
It will kill you. I hated him.
Mm.
I still dislike him, but I hated him.
Yeah.
But the things about him I dislike are things that I know now that I've been able to step away from are demons, right? That are demons for him, and that deserves prayer from me.
Ooh, come on.
So for me, I was able to say, I will no longer allow someone else's struggle to be my own. Right? I don't have to own that anymore.
Yes.
And consequently, now I have a relationship where I've never felt more respected in my life. I've never felt more loved in my life. And I am as me as I possibly could be around this person.
Yeah.
In my ex-marriage, my old marriage, I very much so felt like I could not be safe and be who I really am around this person.
Yeah.
And so when we start talking about, and this is why I put so much emphasis on living a pleasure first life, that's unapologetic. Facts. Which means I don't have to look at my past and see it as a future script. That was just part of my story.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be my tomorrow.
Yes.
My tomorrow is whatever I script it to be that I need it to be.
Yes.
Things happen to us, and if we choose to stay in that space, well, then we're choosing to stay there.
Come on.
I've had people
come out of that.
Yeah. I've had women that I coach say, you know, girl, I came here to learn how to like pop it in a handstand. And I'm like, we can get there.
Yeah.
We will get there.
Yeah.
But I refuse to coach a woman who isn't ready to say, I'm going to adopt a pleasure first life and not just, I'm going to just be a freak in the sheets.
Yeah.
Because if you don't live it as a lifestyle, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm into BDSM, so I walk around in leathers all day. That's not what I'm talking about. What I do in my bedroom is none of y'all's business. Right? No, I'm serious. I'm serious. And this is my business. But that's the point. How I choose to do these things is none of y'all's business, and you have permission to do all those things, right? Yeah. And so living a pleasure first life means I have adopted a lifestyle. I'm going to tickle her.
Because in my head, I'm tickled because in my head I see, you know, this leather mask, this ball, you know, and I'm just like, hey, come on, daddy, you know.
So their sensuality, their sexuality, their intimacy on their shoulder, and I'm like, I might get tied up at 7:00 tonight, but y'all ain't gonna know that, right? Like, but that's my choice, though. This is not my judgment. So what I'm saying is, a pleasure first life says, in all aspects of my life, I put me first, so that when I do get to the bedroom, I know what I'm doing in there, and I'm okay with it because I'm not worried about the judgments that no one else is going to see.
Absolutely.
No one else is going to see that. If you're doing it right, ain't nobody else going to know.
Yeah, and the freedom of that. That. I mean, so you can really see why you can say, you know what, life is pretty good.
Life is good.
Because you don't have those worries and those concerns of judgment or who's going to, because it's for your own self.
It's for
and
your
our
own
happiness
self.
Comes from within. You bring your own happiness.
I plan on catching an O tonight, so I'm not going to worry about what happened to me 10 years ago.
Yes. Ooh, that is so good.
Right.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
Catch that part.
I'm alive. I'm thriving.
Yes.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But if I think I'm going to go to the bedroom tonight and be able to like do my thing, carrying 20 years worth of burden, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, the bedroom is crowded. The
bedroom is crowded. Yeah. There's too many people in here.
Yeah, you got your foot in.
Right.
Get off my
If you went to the group effort, no judgment, do that. But you're probably doing it with consent and rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you start letting other things crowd your bedroom, there's no longer consent and rules. You allowing people in there and stuff. To cloud your moment.
Yeah.
We're not here for that.
Yeah. No. So now let me ask you, do you think that, so you started Quiver. Well, let's back up. What is Quiver? Let's
so
Quiver that first, and then we'll go to how it started.
Yeah. So Quiver is I used to say an app-based community focused on women's pleasure, but we are just a community focused on women's pleasure. The app is a support tool. I am still a pleasure coach. That's the heart of our business.
Yes.
But within that, there's small groups. I run into women every day that's like, girl, I'm 47 years old and I want somebody in my life, but I don't even, I was married for 20 years. What does it look like out there? And I was like, sex has changed.
Yeah.
You know, because I was her. I was that person that was in a relationship forever. And we get into a routine, and how we have sex and relationships with one person can be completely different. And so it was like, well, where's that group for us? So we have small groups, we have workshops, we have sister circles that we host every month. We are a supportive community of women cheering each other on and saying, I'm here for you while you are on this journey to live a pleasure first life. We do have an app. It's available in the App Store, the Google Play and Apple App Store.
Yes.
But
I'll leave that on the.
Yeah, but it's not just the app. You will not download that app and get all your answers.
Yeah.
It's about the community. And I started Quiver because I needed a community. I needed a community where I was like, I know I can't be the only one who has these questions about stuff.
Yeah.
I always joke, if you've ever, you saw me pitch, but my pitch has evolved and grown.
Has it?
But if you've ever, it's good.
I'm sure it is.
But if you've ever seen me pitch, this is not like a thing, so don't worry about it if you haven't. But I always started off by saying I didn't know the difference between my vulva and my belly button. And I was honestly had already had 3 kids and didn't know the difference between my vulva and my vagina. So I would hear people say like vulva, and I'm like, why won't she just say vagina? Or like I really didn't know.
Yes.
And so when you're starting at root zero, I thought I cannot be the only woman out here who knows that she could have a better pleasure life. But just doesn't know how to go about getting the answers. And I never felt comfortable in sex positive spaces because I always felt like the outsider. Here I came as like this, because I had this image in my head of like sex positive people being like purple and pink hair, and we love y'all too. Y'all please don't take me to task on the stuff that I say. But I always thought like, well, I'm not her. I don't have like purple and pink hair.
Yeah.
And I don't speak this way, and I don't look this way. And my 9 to 5 is I'm head of human resources at financial institutions. And, my life was very strict. But I'm like, but I still kind of want answers. Where's that tribe? Where are the women who like the company of other women, supportive other women, but it's like, sis, do you know the answer to that? And she's like, girl, I was hoping you would ask. Yeah. That's what Quiver came from, because I thought, I'm on this new journey. And surely there's other women out here who are on this journey as well that are like, I'm seeking pleasure and I want the answers because I want to be safe.
Yes.
I want to make sure that I'm getting the right information.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that I'm in a space where I feel welcome, because I didn't feel welcome in the spaces that I was exploring to get the answers that I wanted. And that's not a knock against the sex educator community. Yeah. I do think sometimes we start with information up here, and some people are like, but I'm still down here, and I don't know all the, I don't know the right way to say things, and I don't know the phrasing sometimes. And please don't come at me like I'm a bad person because I said the wrong thing. Yes. I'm not trying to be a bigot. Just educate me, right? Right. And so that's where it came from, because I was like, I welcome everybody. I accept everybody. But sometimes I get things wrong. Yeah. And so I went to work educating myself and thought, certainly someone else could use this information.
Yes, so, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that too, because when you talk about pleasure, you know, especially in the bedroom, whatever, there seems to be this taboo that it can't be spoken of in certain spaces. Yeah. And so people pull back or shy from having the conversations, even though they want the information. Yep. And if they don't know how to go get it, because you do have to be careful where you get the information from. You've been done pulled up something on Google, and you've been on how to poll somewhere where wait a minute.
Is this a red pill? I'm an alpha male? Yeah. Y'all can't come for me for that, because I will argue with you about the whole alpha male, beta male BS mess. It's so toxic, but we can talk about that later. Yeah. But so you can land on a site that's not for you.
That's correct. So that's important to be able to have a community, a surrounding where you can feel safe and be yourself. Because again, listen, I tell everybody, I say it all of the time, you better know who you are for yourself. Baby. You better get that peace and that happiness for yourself and within yourself. And that way you can be comfortable. Because, I mean, you and I, we can have the conversation because we're very open. I mean, we talked about, taking this thing to places where most people would be like, girl, you can't say that in here. Right. You don't say don't say coochie in church, you know, or something.
I'm gonna say
like
all
that.
of it. Yeah. So don't invite me.
And so it's awesome to have that space for somebody. So if y'all want to know about it, but you little timid and shy, or
we got you.
She got you.
We got you. We got you, sis.
Yeah. So, oh wow, that is so good. That is so good. What's next for Quiver?
I think what's next for Quiver is this year we are really rolling out and pushing our small groups. We've come to find out that women want very specific answers and very specific parts of their life. And so I'm divorced over 40 and dating again. Or I'm, you know, I'm perimenopausal and things are changing.
Yes.
Am I the only one doing this?
Yeah.
And so we're really going to be pushing our small groups. We're going to be working on our retreats this year.
Yes, I love it.
Yes. Get your gear ready, girls. Get your rungs and your flip flops.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
We've got some specific coaching cohorts that we're putting out as well. So
awesome.
we're going to be busy this year.
Good. I love that. I love that for you, and I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy for all of us because we gonna get from this.
Yes. Y'all gonna be somebody, not just somebody.
Yeah.
Your pleasure matters.
Yeah.
Your pleasure matters. Say it to yourself and say it often.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that might be my title. Your pleasure.
Yes.
And so because for me as an intimacy coach and you as a pleasure coach, we got a few more minutes. Let's talk about briefly the difference of that because there is a difference.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you deem the difference between an intimacy coach and a pleasure coach?
I think an intimacy coach, and keep me honest, an intimacy coach really works on your relations between yourself and others, right?
Yes.
But a pleasure coach really starts looking at your life holistically in terms of how are you living your life and how is it manifesting pleasure for you in order to be able to get to the bedroom, grab your intimacy coach and say, here's how we're connecting, right? Now, I can coach you on intimate things, and I do coach. That's probably the primary thing that we coach on, right? Yes. But I am not going to allow you to log into our coaching session or come see me, however we're meeting, and just talk to me about, girl, teach me how to pop it.
We're not doing that.
Back up. Back up.
We're
going to work on your whole self, right?
I love
and so that's the difference I see. What do you consider the definition?
Well, I would agree with that. I do agree that you have to understand, yourself from the pleasure-centered place, and then you can go to bring intimacy to that to the next person. But get it yourself, right? So the pleasure of knowing yourself,
that
whole.
We are focusing on you, and I will say it again in case y'all didn't catch it earlier. You are somebody.
Yes.
Not just somebody.
Yes.
And so if you cannot, if I come to you and I say, define pleasure for me, and your pleasure holistically revolves around what's happening in the bedroom, you ain't ready.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that.
Yes. Well, that's good because the truth, you know, you need the truth. You need honesty when you're trying to develop character or self-pleasure, self-pleasure.
Lying to yourself won't get you there.
Just snatch the words out of my mouth. Just
look,
give me this Nate. Take these words.
It's true though. You're right about that. It's so true.
So, well, good. That is so good. Time goes by really fast. And then, and I offer this to everyone, and I have had people who, take it up and they want to come back. Excuse me. But I would absolutely love for you to come back. There is so much more to discuss and talk about. And even and I know you have your own podcast. You do your things too.
It's in the app, though.
It's in the app.
So they should hang with you for a bit. And when y'all are ready to download and subscribe to that app, you can hear what we got going on.
Yeah. Because there's just so much more to talk about for this. Yeah. And, and I want to push that. I want to be able to, put that out there for people to be like, okay, I'm interested. How do I do this?
Yeah.
Because it's not about it's not about the sexual thing.
Yeah.
Right. So the self-centered pleasure part is broad. It's not just the boardroom to the bedroom. Yeah. We go there.
But having that for yourself. You don't You don't have boundaries at work. You probably don't have boundaries because these are strangers.
Yeah.
You probably don't have boundaries anywhere else.
Yeah.
That's another hard truth some of y'all need to hear. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then leave us with 2 good nuggets.
Oh, man.
And then we're going to bring you back.
I can't do the spot at the moment. 2 good nuggets.
I mean, because you've given so much, right? So it's like, how much more does she have? And so there's a
2 good nuggets. Okay.
Okay.
Breathe through your nose. That's one.
Get a dry throat and be needing some water and choking and stuff.
No, if you know, you know. Breathe through your nose. My second nugget is, what else can I leave y'all with?
Breathe through your nose. Pin that, okay?
Find time every day, even if it is just 5 minutes, to tell yourself thank you.
Ooh.
That's it. Tell yourself thank you. Because you didn't have to allow yourself to be this far. He didn't and you didn't.
Yes.
It's a team effort. So thank yourself. Thank yourself. There's
Ooh.
nothing wrong with thanking yourself.
Yes.
If you're giving praise,
Yeah.
thank yourself.
Yes. Absolutely.
There it is.
Ooh, well, you guys, listen, I know just like me, I don't want to let this go. I want to just sit here and talk. Order food. Can somebody get a menu? Let's get some food in here. Let's keep talking.
We're going to do part 2.
We will definitely do part 2. And I hope that it's not too long.
No, we got it.
I know, I did and I know you probably seen this, the series that I did with Coach.
Okay.
She had probably what about 4 or 5, and it was just kind of, they were back to back to back. There was so much to talk about. There was so much to pull on, and there still was so much more. Yeah. But I was like, dang, am I boring people by bringing the same person in, whatever? But that there's so much that people can talk about, and it's not a lot of time, here, because you hold people too long. They
look, I'm done.
I got something to do. Come on, wrap this up.
Yeah. Tell us what y'all want. We'll talk about it.
Yes. So please come back. And I will put the question out there, if there are some questions. And then I will also leave your information out there for people to, reach out to you as well.
That works.
To get those questions. I try to stay out of I give tools for, on the pleasure side, but I try to work and focus on the emotional and the mental side, because you got to be in tune. You can't get some of these tools that you give, and then you go in there and you don't.
It won't put you on that higher level. People always tell me, I want to have this ethereal sexual moment, and I'm like, but you.
Yeah.
I love you, but you're not ready.
Yeah.
But we'll get you there.
Yes.
We will get you there.
So thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you, Miss Amber Joy. I appreciate it. Her name, y'all, by the way, doesn't it sound like it's supposed to be on TV or something, like with Amber Joy? Go ahead and bite your lip and.
With Amber Joy.
That's what it kind of gives, like you got that bite, that lip bit, a little bit.
Listen.
So I absolutely love you.
I love you too.
And I look forward to hearing more.
All right. We'll do it. It's a date.
Yes. Count her in. You guys have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.
Be well.